Echo Leaf, is silver a better investment than gold at the moment?
Yeah, it is. They're both going to go high, but the distortion in the ratio between the two, geologically, historically, it makes it a better buy, I think.
Yeah, we did some. Actually, today I did some swaps from gold to silver, with, of course, the anticipation down the road of doing another swap from silver to gold.
Well, remember, when you make that swap, it is a taxable event.
Absolutely. Here we go. Bamboo Lover. By the way, love the name. Have a question. If you had the opportunity to purchase with limited money an old timers silver collection, Morgan's, Mercury's, Eagles, junk, what would you go for first?
Those are the 4 items that I like as much as anything in the world. So
anything that you would think is.
I love the Morgans, and the Eagles would be my favorite. Yeah. I mean, the Morgans are. You give someone a Morgan silver dollar from the late 1800s, and they're like a kid on Christmas. They'll be like, "Oh my God, that's so cool."
Silver versus gold and physical market realities. Andy Schectman discussion. Silver versus gold investment. Andy Schectman argues that silver is currently a better investment than gold due to the historical and geological distortion in the gold-to-silver ratio. Both metals are expected to rise, but silver offers more upside potential. Gold-to-silver swaps. He mentions personally executing swaps from gold into silver, planning to swap back when the ratio normalizes, while reminding investors that such swaps are taxable events. Preferred silver items. When choosing collectible silver with limited funds, Schectman favors Morgan silver dollars and American silver eagles, citing their historical and emotional appeal. Opinion on price predictions. Dismissing predictions that gold will peak at $4,800, he believes it will go markedly higher, emphasizing that differing opinions are part of investing. On Glint and digital silver, platforms like Glint can diversify holdings, but he insists that physical possession is vital. If you don't hold the keys, you don't hold your coins. Glint is best seen as a liquid alternative to cash, not a substitute for physical storage. Storage strategy. He recommends a tiered approach. Hold some silver personally. Store some in secure facilities like Brinks. Then, optionally use services like Glint for convenience. Goldback's discussion. While Schectman respects the goldback concept, gold-infused currency, he questions liquidity and acceptance, asking, who do you sell them to if institutions don't take them? Silver price outlook. Contrary to expectations of a drop to $40, he predicts $60 to $65 silver due to strong fundamentals. The U.S. government reclassified silver as a critical mineral. Major traders and nations are draining exchanges. Physical premiums are rising, reflecting tight supply. Market tightness. Schectman notes sourcing silver has become significantly harder, with premiums climbing and retail availability shrinking, signs of stress in the physical market.
Yeah, that was $1 back when your great-grandparents were walking around. And it's really, really, there's something mystical and special about the Morgan silver dollars. They are my favorite.
Okay. Smith Hers says, my dealer says gold will crap out at 4,800. I don't know what your dealer has, unless, the batteries on my crystal ball.
Tell your dealer to come on the show. Let's talk, and I'll be nice.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see it go markedly higher than 4,800. But hey, that's the beauty of different opinions. You listen, you evaluate, and then you make your own decision.
You know what we say in New York about opinions.
Everyone's got one.
No, we say something
I
else.
know.
Yeah. I don't know if we can say it.
You say opinions are like what?
You say opinions like assholes. Some are bigger than others.
And everyone's got one.
Yeah. All right. Well, Diego says, it's a cute picture of Diego. Yeah. Question for Andy Tattoo. Is Glint a good and secure way to diversify some of your silver holdings rather than having 100% physical custody yourself?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a good way. It's not. So, I mean, we always say, just like with Bitcoin, if you don't hold the keys, you don't hold your coins. It's a great way. I always like to think of it as a great alternative to having money in a checking account that you can spend.
It's unallocated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not segregated. It's allocated. So it's not it is there. You have title to it, but it's not like storing bars in one of our Brinks facilities or coins that have a specific association with you. I think that you should have physical silver in your own possession. I think you should have maybe physical silver at a Brinks facility, maybe arguably before you have it with Glint, but Glint is a great way to have it without dealing with the storage issues. But it's, I think that the segregation and having the other bases covered first arguably would be the order of doing things. The one thing it democratizes owning metal, because you can spend $5 on it if you want. So that's one thing that I do like about it a lot.
GG4GB said Goldbacks are awesome. They pay me better than a savings account. I'm not quite sure I understand that.
I don't understand it either. And I have no problem with Goldbacks. I like the owner. I wrestle with the fact that what do you do with them if the institutions won't take them? Who do you sell them to? There's one or two companies that buy. Maybe I'm naive, and I'm not going to speak poorly about him at all, because the guy's straight up honest guy. I know him. Lives right over here.
Yeah, well, there's a few different companies that, of course, make
the main guy that
yeah.
makes them.
Yeah,
and he's a good guy. And look, when they passed this law about like making legal tender coins, I think it'll end up being like they're doing in Texas. I could see where they would say, you bring your American Eagle gold coins to the Texas Bullion Depository, we're going to give you an app or a credit card where you can spend it. And states a lot of them are specifically saying American Eagle coins. So I don't have a beef at all against the Goldback, but I'm not familiar enough to comment on how you're getting a better return on it than other things.
Yeah. And Smither says, I have a feeling we're headed to 40 silver again. Banks will not allow sound money, your owners. Smithers, I would love in the comment section for you to tell me why you think 40 silver will be back again. I happen to think that there's a much greater chance of seeing 60, 65 before we see 40.
And the U.S. government just reclassified it as a critical mineral. They've just put a floor under the price. The biggest traders in the United States are bringing it in hand over fist. The countries around the globe are draining the exchanges.
By the way, I'll tell you, from a retail perspective,
it'd be great.
We are
massive premiums.
We are. I mean, listen, we have metal, but sourcing metal these days is far, far greater than it's been. Premiums are rising.
Our head trader is going to have a nervous breakdown.
Oh, there's no question about it, and I'm sure it's probably about 90% my fault.
We were in Aruba, and I heard him say, a vacation for me, Kevin, is one day without hearing your voice.
He's never been on vacation, but it's true. I mean, look, if we look back at some of these live Q&As, and we talk about the Eagles, and we were talking about $4 over spot or $5 over spot. Right now, on average, you're talking about $8 to $8.50 to $9 over spot for silver Eagles.
Stupid.
I mean, look, Andy loves the Eagles, but for me, look, I want to own as much weight in silver right now as I possibly can. So for me personally, I've been buying much more of the larger bars, the 10-ounce bars, the kilo bars. Hundreds are a little big.
Junk silver might be the best.
Junk silver, without a doubt. It is. I mean, I went over it with somebody today. They're getting at about 4% more silver, roughly, than you would in like a 10-ounce bar.
You always want to keep in mind never crossing the penny wise, pound foolish line. But Richard Russell, my mentor, did say in the end it's about the number of ounces you own. Right. But there is argument for owning U.S. coinage or 1-ounce coins from sovereign mints. You can go either way, but the Eagles are just too damn expensive right now. If you can find Kangaroos, Maple Leafs, Krugerrands, Britannias for harmonics, but they're going to be $4 cheaper than the Eagles. Bro.
Yeah, no, not $4. No, not anymore. No way. I mean, right now we're talking about us and our competitors at least. Yeah, three is probably a better number.
That's
but even still,
it's almost 10%.
Look, and I always tell my clients that I know when they call and call for Eagles and they have a lot of Eagles already. I tell them, you have enough Eagles at this point, relatively speaking, that you can actually afford to now, because they want the weight, they want the silver. But think about it. If silver's now $52 and you're paying $8 in premium, you're paying a good 16%.
And what did I say on so many? I got so much shit for saying that the premiums are so low, you guys, for the last year, and it won't take much to see premiums go up and availability disappear. I was trolling around last night in prep for some of my podcasts, and I stumbled across a Reddit page where someone said SD Bullion sold out of all their 1,000-ounce bars overnight. Something's happening. Well, again, stuff's getting hard to accumulate. If you realize, as my buddy Rick Rule always says, that the allocation of metals to the whole financial matrix is 0.5% from Joe and Jane Sixpack to the Harvard Endowment Fund, who just spent $200 million on gold, I think, the Harvard Endowment Fund, somewhere in that neighborhood, but they did. He always used to say that, and I laughed when they bought it. But if just 5%, now you got these big money managers, Hartnett and the CIO of Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs saying 25% from Gundlach, the bond king. Okay, if you saw a 25% allocation, that's a 50-fold increase in demand like that. Say, it's all gone, folks. And I'm telling you, that is no rhetoric. That is no talk in my book. That is no BS. That is flat out 1,000%. There would be nothing left tomorrow.
Rising premiums, refinery backlogs, and silver's future value. Andy Schectman discussion. Silver premiums surging. Silver Eagle premiums have jumped from $4.5 over spot to $8.9, showing strong retail demand and tightening supply. Buying strategy shift. While Andy Schectman loves Silver Eagles, he now favors larger bars, 10 ounces, kilo, and junk silver to maximize total silver weight and reduce premium costs. Weight over brand philosophy. Echoing his mentor Richard Russell, Schectman stresses that long-term wealth in metals depends on the number of ounces you own, not brand prestige. Market tightness and shortages. Premiums are climbing and availability is shrinking. Even major dealers like SD Bullion reportedly sold out of 1,000-ounce bars overnight, signaling physical strain in the market. Potential demand explosion. Institutional investors, e.g. Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Gundlach, discussing 20 to 25% allocation to metals could trigger a 50x demand surge, instantly depleting available supply. Global physical scarcity. Delays and queues for purchasing metals are appearing in the UK, Australia, and China, showing global pressure on bullion supply. Refinery backlogs explained. Refineries slowed production during quiet months when demand and premiums were low. Now, with renewed demand, they face logjams and minimum size requirements, 10-ounce bars or larger. Dealers under pressure. Rising metal prices and high hedging/insurance costs make it expensive to hold inventory. Smaller dealers struggle to maintain supply at current market levels. 24/7 operations and hedging. Andy's firm stays active even on weekends to secure supply, highlighting how constant vigilance is now required to stay stocked amid shortages. Silver's future potential. He and others believe silver could eventually reach parity with gold due to its dual role as an industrial and monetary metal, recalling historical, even biblical, 1-to-1 ratios. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. And subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications